Hello, good morning, students. So, in this chapter, we so India's first nuclear test was in the year 1974. In May 1974. Okay, so India's first nuclear explosion was in the year 1974 May. Okay. So even before independence, Nehru, the leader of the country, the later Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, he had an idea about how to build a modern India. Okay, so he realized the fact that to build a modern India, the science and technology was essential. So he knew very well that to build a modern India, it is essential to develop the science and technology of the country. And so he had industrial plants, and this industrial plan included nuclear program. Okay, and this nuclear program was initiated in 1940s under the guidance of Homi J. Bhabha. So our first nuclear explosion was in the year 1974. It was during the time of Indira Gandhi. Okay, so but even before our independence, Nehru realized that to build a modern India, it is essential to develop our science and technology. So he had industrial plants, and these industrial plants included the nuclear program. So when was it initiated, or under the leadership of Homi J. Bhabha, under the guidance of Homi J. Bhabha, our nuclear program was initiated even in 1940s. Okay. So India followed a policy of using or generating atomic energy for peaceful purposes. Nehru had also the same idea. So Nehru or India followed a policy of generating atomic energy only for peaceful purposes. Okay. Actually, Nehru was against these nuclear weapons, and so he pleaded with the superpowers for comprehensive nuclear disarmament, for reducing the use or the production of nuclear weapons. Okay, so Nehru pleaded with the superpowers for comprehensive nuclear disarmament. When was China's first nuclear test? 1964. Okay, India's 74, China's nuclear test in 1964. So after the nuclear tests of China, there were 5 nuclear powers. So which are the 5 nuclear powers? The US, the USSR, UK, France and China. So how many nuclear powers are there? US, USSR, UK, France and China. So 5 nuclear powers are there. And these 5 nuclear powers are the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. So these nuclear powers, these 5 nuclear powers are the 5 permanent members of UN Security Council. So these 5 nuclear powers tried to impose NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and it was in the year 1968. So on the rest of the countries, on the rest of the world, these 5 nuclear powers tried to impose nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Okay. So we already studied about this NPT in the first chapter, Cold War. Okay. So this allows only nuclear weapon states to have nuclear weapons. All other countries are not allowed to have nuclear weapons. Okay. So only the 5 superpowers who are the permanent members of the UN Security Council, these countries are only allowed to have nuclear weapons by this NPT. Okay, NPT of 1968. That year is also important. So a nuclear weapon state is one which has manufactured and exploded nuclear weapon prior to 1st January 1967. So you already studied this. So which country is called a nuclear weapon state? A nuclear weapon state is one which has manufactured and exploded nuclear weapon prior to 1st January 1967. So only these countries are allowed to have nuclear weapons. Okay. Which countries manufactured and exploded nuclear weapons before 1st January 1967. Clear? So India considered this NPT as discriminatory, and so it refused to sign NPT. And when India conducted its first nuclear test, it was termed as peaceful explosion. So I already told that India wanted to use this nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. So India was ready to, or India's policy, how was India's policy? Using nuclear power only for peaceful purposes. Clear? Then India opposed the indefinite extension of NPT in 1995. So in 1995, when the NPT or when it was decided to extend this NPT indefinitely, India opposed it. Okay. Then India refused to sign the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty of 1996. Okay. It refused to sign the CTBT, Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty of 1996. Then in May 1998, India again conducted nuclear tests. So India showed the world its capacity to use nuclear energy for military purposes. Following India's example, Pakistan also conducted nuclear explosion. Okay. So India opposed indefinite extension of NPT in 1995 and refused to sign the CTBT of 1996. Then it conducted nuclear tests in May 1998. So the first test in 1974, it was during the time of Indira Gandhi. Okay, Indira Gandhi, 1974. Then the next test was in the year 1998. At that time, A.B. Vajpayee was the Indian Prime Minister. Okay, so nuclear tests were conducted. Second nuclear tests were conducted in May 1998. So India showed its capacity to use nuclear energy for military purposes. So Pakistan also conducted this nuclear tests. Okay. So at the global level, both the countries face many problems related to these nuclear tests. So even after conducting the nuclear test of 1998, what was the policy of India? No first use. So India is not interested to use the nuclear weapons first. Okay. If we are attacked by some other countries, then only we will think of using these weapons. So what is India's policy in using these nuclear weapons? No first use. Okay, it is given in box in your text. Okay, so minimum, it stood for minimum nuclear deterrence. Minimum nuclear deterrence. So during the time of the first nuclear test, India's condition, the political condition of India was too difficult. Okay. And at that time there was an Arab-Israel war, and this Arab-Israel war affected the whole world. So naturally India was also affected by this Arab-Israel war of 1973. So it gave an oil shock to the whole world. So there was a rise in the oil prices all over the world. So India also faced a bad economic condition. Economic turmoil was there, and it resulted in high inflation. Okay, so here also the prices of goods rose during this time. So it was a time when there was a nationwide railway strike. So you will study about this in detail in some other chapter. It is given in books there. So here no need of its details. Okay, so nationwide railway strike was there. Actually the strike was to reduce their working time, the railway staff's working time, and also to increase their pay or salary. Okay. So the period of nuclear test was too difficult in the Indian politics. It was a time of Arab-Israel war of 1973. So it produced oil shock all over the world. That means there was a rise in the price of oil all over the world. And in India also there was an economic turmoil, and it resulted in high inflation. So it was a period of nationwide railway strike. So you all know that in India different political parties are coming in rule. Okay. So in the policy of these all these political parties vary to a very small extent. There is no differences in their foreign policies. Okay, slight differences are there. Okay, so for all these political parties there is a consensus towards their foreign policies or their policy of foreign relations, external relations. All these political parties are giving importance to national integration, then protection of international boundaries, and questions of national interest. So there is not much differences in the policies of different political parties of India. Okay, so among the political parties there is consensus or unanimity in their policies, in their approach, in their policies of foreign relations, mainly in matters of national integration, protection of international boundaries, and questions of national interests. Okay, so this chapter over. Once again I will explain this last topic, India's nuclear policy. So, when was India's first nuclear explosion? It was in May 1974 during the time of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Then Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, he realized the fact that to build a modern India, the development of science and technology is essential. So, the India's industrial plans or Nehru's industrial plans included the nuclear program. Okay, and this nuclear program was initiated in 1940 under the guidance of Homi J. Bhabha. So, what is India's policy towards these nuclear weapons? Generate atomic energy only for peaceful purposes. Nehru was against nuclear weapons, okay, and he pleaded with the superpowers for comprehensive nuclear disarmament or reducing the production or use of weapons, nuclear weapons. China conducted its first nuclear test in the year 1964. Okay, 1964. So, after the nuclear test of China, there were 5 nuclear powers: US, USSR, UK, France and China. And these 5 nuclear powers are the 5 permanent members of UN Security Council. So these nuclear powers tried to impose nuclear non-proliferation treaty in 1968 on the rest of the world, on the other countries of the world. Okay, so this NPT allows only nuclear weapon states to have nuclear weapons. Then what is a nuclear weapon state? A nuclear weapon state is one which has manufactured and exploded nuclear weapon prior to 1st January 1967. So, what was India's approach towards NPT? India refused to sign because India considers this NPT as discriminatory. Okay, so when India conducted its first nuclear test, it was termed as peaceful explosion. It was intended to use only for peaceful purposes. You all know that it can be mainly used for power generation. Okay. So India opposed the indefinite extension of NPT in 1995, then refused to sign Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty of 1996. Then India again conducted nuclear tests in May 1998. Through these nuclear tests, India showed its capacity to use nuclear energy for military purposes. And at that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Indian Prime Minister. And Pakistan also followed the same. They also conducted nuclear tests. So what is India's policy? No first use. India is not interested to use the nuclear weapons first. Okay. So India followed a policy of minimum nuclear deterrence. So what was the political and economic situation of India during the first nuclear test? Very difficult situation in Indian domestic politics. There was a war, Arab-Israel War of 1973. It gave an oil shock to the whole world. throughout the world, the oil prices rose. So in India also there was economic turmoil and it resulted in high inflation. And it was a time of nationwide railway strike. So about the political situation of this period, Indira's period, we will study in detail in other chapters. Okay. Then, so this chapter over. Then one box is also there. We already studied about China War of 1964, then Pakistan, Indo-Pak War 1965, then that Bangladesh or Indo-Pak War or Bangladesh War of 1971. So another conflict occurred between India and Pakistan is mentioned in your textbook. It was in 1999 May, June, in the months of May, June 1999. Okay, it is also given in books, but you need this. So several regions of Kashmir like this, Mashko, Dras, all these regions were attacked by Mujahideens. Actually, this occupation of Mujahideens involved the there was the involvement of Pak soldiers in this occupation of Indian regions. So when the Indian forces or when the India government realized the involvement of Pak forces, we reacted. India reacted. By July 26, we could recover almost all these regions. And after this, in Pakistan, there were many political changes. You already studied about the military coup undertaken by Pervez Musharraf in 1999 and the fall of the democratic government of Nawaz Sharif. You already studied about this in smaller classes. So, don't leave this Kargil confrontation or Kargil conflict. So, when was it? In 1999. Several regions of Kashmir, several regions of India were occupied by Mujahideens. Actually, there was the involvement of Pak forces in this occupation. So, when India realized the involvement of Pak forces, we reacted. India reacted, and India could recover all these regions by July 26. Okay, that is Kargil confrontation. Then military coup occurred in Pakistan, or many political changes occurred in Pakistan. Okay. So, as a revision, I am not going from the first part of this chapter, only these wars. Okay. I am covering only these wars. So the Chinese invasion of 1962, before that there was the issue of Tibet. Okay, from there we are starting. So China claimed administrative control, the occupation of Tibet. So China claimed administrative control over Tibet in 1950, and it took over Tibet in 1950. So, did the Tibetans support this occupation? No, they opposed. The Tibetans opposed. So, India persuaded China to recognize the Tibetan claim for independence. So, Panchashil, we already studied the Panchashil, that agreement of peaceful coexistence. So, it was in 1954. So, one clause of Panchashil was respecting each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. So India used this clause and agreed China's claim over Tibet. In 1956, when Zhou Enlai reached India, he was accompanied by Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibet. So he explained all worsening situation in Tibet. So China assured greater autonomy for Tibet. In 1958, there was an armed uprising in Tibet against the Chinese occupation, but it was suppressed. In 1959, Dalai Lama sought asylum in India, in Himachal Pradesh. So China has created the Tibet as an autonomous region. Tibetans, according to the Tibetans, the Chinese would undermine their traditional culture and religion. Now it is an autonomous region within China, governed by people's government led by a chairman, and this chairman is subordinate to the branch secretary of Chinese Communist Party. Then Chinese invasion of 1962. So two developments strained the relations between the two. First, that occupation of Tibet. Then in this case there was no open opposition from the part of India. Then when the Tibetan culture was suppressed, India began to oppose it. Then when Dalai Lama sought asylum, China alleged the government of India for allowing anti-China activities to take place from within India. So, territorial dispute between India and China. China claimed two areas within Indian territory, and these were Aksai Chin and much of the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So between 1957 and 59, they occupied Aksai Chin area and built strategic road. Discussions were held but no solution. Then several small border conflicts were there. Then during the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the world attention was towards the Cuban Missile Crisis. So these regions, both these regions, Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, were attacked by or invaded by China. Then first attack lasted 1 week. They captured key areas in Arunachal Pradesh. Second attack in next month. So Indian forces blocked the Chinese advance on the western front in Ladakh. But in the east, the Chinese advanced to the entry point of Assam plains. China declared a unilateral ceasefire. Then Chinese troops withdrew to where they were before the invasion began. Then India's image became diminished. Why India approached America and Britain for military assistance. USSR was also neutral towards India. So it was national humiliation, and it strengthened the spirit of nationalism. Then V.K. Krishna Menon, the defense minister of India, resigned. Then many top army officials also resigned. Nehru faced criticism, and he faced the no confidence motion for the first time in our parliament. So it affected the opposition also, and we studied the split of Communist Party in India in 1964. Then the realization of the volatile situation in the northeastern part, the Indian leaders realized that it is isolated and underdeveloped. there is the challenge of national integration and political unity. Then Nagaland was given statehood in 1963. Manipur and Tripura, at that time these states were union territories, but legislative assemblies were provided to these regions. Then we came to wars and peace with Pakistan. So first war between India and Pakistan broke out in 1947, and it was proxy war. Actually, on the request of Kashmir, this war was fought. Okay. So at last this issue was referred to the UN. Pakistan always emerged as a critical factor in India's relations with the US, later with China. Okay. So in the initial stages, both the countries followed a policy of cooperation, mainly for the restoration of women to their original families. Then a dispute of sharing of river waters. Then the involvement through the mediation of World Bank. There was an agreement between India and Pakistan, Indus Waters Treaty. Leaders who signed this treaty were Nehru and Ayub Khan in 1960. Okay. So armed conflict in 1965. At that time, Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister. Areas run of Kutch in Gujarat and Jammu and Kashmir. Prime Minister ordered counter-offensive. Then Indian forces reached close to Lahore. Then here also UN intervention. Then Tashkent Agreement was signed in January 1966. Lal Bahadur Shastri and Ayub Khan signed the treaty. Then there was the mediation of Soviet Union, and the wars brought about a worse economic situation in India. After this, once I asked one question related to this Tashkent Agreement. After this Tashkent Agreement, our Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri passed away there. Okay, it was a great issue at that time. Then Bangladesh War or Indo-Pak War of 1971. Actually, there was in 70s there was internal crisis in Pakistan. So first general election was in 70s, and it created split verdict. So West Pakistan found the victory of Pakistan People's Party under the leadership of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Then in East Pakistan, Awami League became victorious, and its leader was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So the people of East Pakistan, they considered this voting as a way to protest, because they were treated as second-class citizens in Pakistan. Okay. So Pakistani rulers, they didn't accept this democratic people's verdict, and they didn't accept the demand of Awami League for a federation. So in 1971, Pak army arrested Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and reign of terror started in East Pakistan. So what was the response? People started a struggle to liberate Bangladesh from Pakistan. So Bangladesh freedom movement, freedom struggle started there. Okay. So India faced a problem of refugees during this time. 80 lakh refugees migrated to India. Okay. But India was ready to provide all moral and material support to the freedom struggle of Bangladesh. At the same time, Pakistan got the support of US and China. So China changed its policies. when in 60s or 70s, as a result of changing policies, they could maintain good relations with the US. Okay. Then Henry Kissinger, the advisor of American President Richard Nixon, made a secret visit to China via Pakistan in July 1971. Then the 20-year Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed between India and USSR in August 1971. And it assured Soviet support to India in case of war. Okay. So, war occurred between India and Pakistan. Pakistan aircrafts attacked here Punjab and Rajasthan. Both on the eastern and western front, the Indian forces retaliated with the three forces. So, Indian army could make rapid progress in Pakistan with the support of the people there. Okay. Within 10 days, Dhaka was surrounded by Indian army. Then they could, the Pak soldiers were forced to surrender. Okay. India declared unilateral ceasefire. Then Shimla agreement was signed on 3rd July 1972. Okay. Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So it was a period of national jubilation. Extreme happiness was there in India. It was a sign of India's growing military prowess. So in 1971 Lok Sabha election, Indira Gandhi won the election, and this war increased her popularity. And in the assembly elections also, the Congress could win in several states of India, in most of the states of India. So we studied that India's development planning was with the limited resources, but when these wars occurred, Indian planners were forced to divert these resources for military modernization. So Department of Defense Production was established in November 1962, and Department of Defense Supplies came in November 1965. Then Kargil confrontation. You can add this Kargil confrontation there. Okay. Kargil confrontation and India's nuclear policy. Okay. NPT, then CTBT, then whose guidance was there? Homi J. Bhabha's guidance was there. Then India's policy, no first use. Okay.